Time is speeding up. Chaos is shifting into a new level, and we feel the pull to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Timeless spiritual wisdom offers the point of stability to navigate these times and to open our greatest potential. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the fun and knowledge of visionary best-selling authors Shri and Kira as they explore these mysteries and invite your higher love to come forward. And now, here are Shri and Kira.
Namaste and welcome to Explore the Mysteries. I am wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka.
And I am Master Lady Kira Ra. And beloved angels, welcome not only to this extraordinary moment of January, but to claiming your absolute divine purpose, to saying yes to you in this time of miracle enlightenment. This is a moment where you can thrive. And tonight we're going to talk all about that.
Because thriving is really the essence of being who you are.
Right?
You know, when we are lined up, when we're in the zone of my divine identity, my being, my purpose, my passion, my power, everything's lined up. There you go. That's called thriving.
It really is. And that's where we're at. And, you know, so tonight we're gonna really go through some of those deep questions. We're going to talk about how do you raise your consciousness? You know, what steps can you actually take? And gosh, you know, we all have these really crazy, busy lives, but even with a busy life, with work, with a family, you can bring more balance into every day. It absolutely is part of your spiritual path. We're going to be talking about that, along with what if you're new to this path, right? What if you're new to this journey? What is all this about? What is Galactic Crystalline DNA? Oh my goodness, such a big show. So you really want to just sit back and relax and receive, really receive. And I want to share that, you know, this show, of course, is inspired by another extraordinary ensoulment.
Yes. And ensoulments are the messages from the archangelic realm brought through by my beloved Master Lady Kira Ra, who is able to bridge the dimensional spaces and bring through this incredible wisdom. And my role is to help unlock that, and we're here to share it with you.
And are excited to do that. And this is actually from our Galactic Encyclopedia series. Now, before we go any further, I want you to make a note. Write this down. SriandKira.com. SriandKira.com. Because every Monday night, we offer our what we call hashtag Monday Magic. And Monday Magic is where we come together as a community of those that are exploring the mysteries of the yoga of self-ascension. And this is when we have, I like to call it family time.
Yes.
You know, Monday night is really when we all get together. We're in real time with each other. And Shri and I have been unlocking the higher codes of these ascended discourses, these ensoulments now. And what's so fascinating is that I do want to take the moment to share that what we have discovered is we always knew we were ahead of our time. We just didn't know how much, right? And this is what happens every Monday night is we start unlocking those codes. And the reason I'm sending you to Sri and Kira right now is we are starting the next series tomorrow, Monday. Join us. It is phenomenal. Monday, January 11th, where we begin the Living Your Ascended Life series. And this message came from the Galactic Encyclopedia, which is what we closed last year with.
Not that long ago.
And the way that this unfolded, and specifically this message, I mean, they're all amazing, but there was a lot going on with this. So why not expand your knowledge, jump in with people, ask your questions, talk to us in real time, be with those who are also exploring the mysteries. So check out Monday Magic.
And the nice thing is you can join at any time.
Exactly.
And you'll get the videos of the prior lessons, but every lesson stands alone. Every lesson will expand you. And I'll tell you what, expansion is the topic for today.
It really is, because we are at the time of enlightenment, of really calling in our divine lion nature. And so we want to read to you first. I think let's just read it in its entirety. Then we're going to go back and unpack all those questions we were talking about earlier. So in this moment, receive. Bring a hand to your heart, right? My beloved's gonna share this beautiful ensoulment. This is just a piece. This is the piece that we're connecting with tonight. So this is from the Galactic Encyclopedia, Message 10, The Time of Enlightenment, claiming your divine purpose as you connect with divine empowerment.
Connecting with divine empowerment. When you connect to your consciousness, you expand. How do you perceive what is in front of you now? How are you going through the new beginnings? Are you in the muddle, or are you in the clarity of the recognition of the divine expansion that is before you now? This is not the time to be timid. So timid so many are. Perhaps I'll stick my foot in the water for a moment, but only on the weekend for half an hour between 12 and 12:30. That would be convenient. Yes. It is important for you to recognize that within timidness, a lion prays. The lion will pray. You are either in the energy of the lion or available to be part of the prey. And all choices are, of course, wondrous, as all choices are indeed abundant on the planet now. This cycle of the lion will culminate in approximately 5.34 years. This cycle is most profound. This cycle will indeed end like a lion as it has, this cycle will indeed end like a lamb as it has come in like a lion. It is in the unification of the lion and the lamb that the eagle will soar and the condor will join. Together they shall form the great serpent of understanding, coming forward again to galactic reunification. You all say, what divine riddles you offer to us today, and your DNA knows exactly what we are offering. It is imperative, dearest children, that you are at the time of great divine empowerment. You must empower yourselves. To continue the great empowerment, it is absolutely imperative for you to become more aligned with the galactic crystalline DNA within your stranding, and that you align with the beginnings that are before you now.
Wow. Let's really take in a breath on that you align with the beginnings that are before you now. And Shri, I think it would be remiss of me not to call forward that one of the greatest beginnings before us right now is spiral time, concentric dimensionality. The beginnings before us now, I want to go back because in this ensoulment, they did mention about this 5.3-year culmination. So I do want to share with you that this is a very important sharing because clearly stating that this cycle was prominent in 2006, it actually ended in 2012. So when this was originally given, that 5.34 years actually culminated in 2012. However, what's also noteworthy is that as of the date of the re-release of this sharing, which was during our Monday Magic, the 5.3-year cycle adjusted through that current time compression that we went through in 2020 actually equates, you ready, to the first week of August 2023. So let's also note that the word approximately is being used, that they actually put that in. They said approximately 5.34 years. And the reason that that word was in there, what we now get as we unlock these mysteries, is because these time streams are always fluid.
Everything is circling.
Exactly. And this is based upon the consensus of the creation consciousness. And right now, the consensus of the creation consciousness has brought us back to concentric dimensionality and spiral time. And so this is that first thing we shared with you we were going to talk about today. This is the call to greater consciousness. And it's the moment that says, how do I do this? How do I move into this level of greater consciousness?
Well, absolutely.
How do I raise my consciousness?
You know, and it's so simple yet so powerful. The first 6 words, when you connect to your consciousness,
yes,
you expand.
There it is. Breathe that in. And there's so much there. Like,
well,
we
yeah.
could do a whole show just on this first sentence.
But let's just get this for a second.
Let's do it.
Because when we connect to our consciousness is that which is before the experience.
Right.
That which is before the perception. That which is eternally present.
Consciousness is.
And when we connect with our consciousness, we automatically expand beyond the limited perspective of that singular identity of our personality, of our belief that we are this person at this date, at this time, with this history. When we connect to our consciousness, we cannot help but expand.
Breathe that in. Because I know what a lot of people are saying. They're saying that, Sri, I love what that's saying. I'm enjoying that. But how do I know? How do I know if I'm connecting with my consciousness? What are the steps? How can I do that?
Well, and this is one of the reasons why throughout the millennia, people have committed themselves to meditation and to spiritual practices in order to get past all of the static on the perceptual screen and start connecting more deeply with consciousness.
As you're sharing that, all I'm hearing is sticky notes. I think we need to give you guys the sticky notes practice because I know, as Shri's saying, through meditation, spiritual practice, and some of you are going, yeah, I know, I get it. But so let me give you something that will give you all of that same benefit. And the only thing you have to do is commit to getting a pen and a little pack of sticky notes. All right, you ready? So you got your pack of sticky notes here, right? Shri's got his sticky notes. He's got his pen. And on every note, Shri, let's even show him how. On every single note, you're going to write 3 words. Thank you, breathe. Thank you, breathe. And here we are. Shri's even giving you a demo for those of you that are watching it. He just wrote on his sticky note, thank you, breathe. Now, here's the only thing that this can be, and this can become a meditation. You need to write it on every single note, every single one. And then you're going to place these everywhere, right? Like I could even put one right here on Shri. See, right there. That way every time I look at Shri, I go, thank you, and I breathe, right? You're going to put these sticky notes everywhere. Put them in your wallet. Tuck them in the flap of your cereal box. Put it inside your kitchen cabinet. Stick it behind the shower curtain. There you go. Wherever you want. Put them everywhere. In the glove compartment of your car.
Hide them from yourself.
Exactly. Get creative. How about shoving them in a drawer? But here's the practice, and this does literally start training you and your body to start accepting the higher consciousness frequency. Every time you see one, and I'm not saying sometimes, every single time you see one, you're going to bring your hands to your heart, and you're going to take in a deep breath on that thank you, right? There's the breathe. Thank you. The hand to the heart sends reassurance to the body. It's a signal to the soul that says, hey, you know what? My consciousness is here. I am becoming more aware. And so the minute we bring our hands to our heart, it interrupts the chaos. It disconnects us from that which seeks to steal our consciousness. And as we bring our hands to our heart, we're literally sending signals into the body that are saying, hey, I'm waking up, so are you. And then when we take in that deep breath, and you want to focus, go in through the nose and out the mouth. Really clear it up through the nose, out through the mouth, and smile. That's the secret. If there's a secret, it's every time we breathe in. When we exhale with a smile. Because a smile sends a signal to the universe that we get it. A smile sends a signal that says, I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. And that signal is coming from the soul, not the brain. And so how can you start connecting with consciousness? By first saying yes to you. Yes. And start sending those signals. And with every conscious breath, complete it with a smile. And you'll blow your mind how fast this is going to turn around.
One of the things that's so common in our civilized world is to think that it has to be hard, to think that we have to effort.
I know, I love it.
That spiritual truth and deep peace are elusive somehow. Mm-hmm. And nothing could be further from the truth. Mm-hmm. For example, the first sentence that we were bringing forward is, when you connect with your consciousness, you expand. So the question was, well, how do you connect? Well,
right?
The way you connect is by stop giving your attention away to the distractions and instead bring it into present time, into the moment. The practice of thank you brings us to our hearts, and breathe brings us to the present energy of now.
With a smile.
And the smile helps us remain open. Yeah. So the more we do thank you, we have a moment of that connection. And that connection is how we open up our cosmic DNA,
Now,
which is another question
another thing that we're going to
have.
talk about. But I want to go back to, because remember, the very first line in this installment that we read to you tonight was, once again, when you connect to your consciousness, you expand. The true you, the mastery you, gets greater presence because you're disconnecting from the distraction and taking a moment to really start remembering who you are. And then I want to read you those questions. So maybe with your hand to your heart and taking that conscious breath up through the nose, letting out that beautiful breath with a smile. How do you perceive what is in front of you right now? Now, in order to even ask that question, how do you perceive what's in front of you right now? What it means is that you're actually witnessing yourself. Mm-hmm. In order for you to perceive you now requires that you lift out of that singular perception of the self and look at the situation. And so then, this is really powerful. How are you going to get through the new beginnings? Because when we lift and we start noticing our perceptions, remember that it is our perceptions that create our reality. So when we start noticing our perceptions, we then are able to sincerely pay attention to the new beginning before us. And then, without emotional involvement, without attachment, without anything that stops us, we can honestly go within with, am I in the muddle? Am I muddled, right? Am I in the muddle? Or am I in the clarity of the recognition of the divine expansion that is before me? This is a profound series of questions, because this incredible series of questions really brings us back to the importance of making our clear choices, the importance of saying, okay, no matter what's going on, the family, the work, the pressure, whatever's happening, if I am able to be outside of the perception of the consensus reality, then I am able to harness the law of instantaneous manifestation through the abundant flow of my divinely illuminated presence. Let's breathe that in for a minute. Wow. Yeah, that gets clarity. And I got to say the next line. Can I say the next line?
Go for it.
Because the next line is so great. Because here's what Zodkiel comes in with. This is not the time to be timid. And this is not said with like a wishy-washy thing. Zodkiel's like, look, this is not the time to be timid. So timid, so many are. Or, kind of like, I'll put my foot in the water, I'll take my foot out, kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. This is important to pay attention to, because only we can recognize our own timidness. And when we do, we realize that we have become the prey of the lion, and that lions will hunt.
Yeah. The prey of the lion is a metaphorical way of talking about those who seek to impose their paradigm on your consciousness.
Exactly.
Those who seek to capture your energy to their method, to where they're going. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that in the world. There's a lot of alignments and things in the world. There are people seeking more reinforcements, come belong with this group or that group. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with aligning with a group. However, do it consciously. Exercise your power of choice. Choice happens through clarity.
Exactly.
How do we get clear? By, how about thank you? Breathing.
Smiling.
Noticing. Yeah. In the noticing, we begin to take in everything without an agenda. Notice,
wow.
Just notice, because then we begin to see everything that's interplaying. And then, of course, this takes a little practice. So practice noticing. It's a beautiful way to discover inner peace.
Oh my gosh, yes. And, I'm enjoying that you're sharing practice noticing, because this goes back to the acceptance of our divine nature outside of the limited perceptions of density. Mm-hmm. In order to start noticing what you're noticing, you have relaxed the ego enough and arrived at that beautiful place where this compassionate energy we wrap around ourselves lifts us into that fifth dimensional experience where we are unencumbered from the attachment to the density. We can still be affected by it, but we're unencumbered by the attachment of it. The spiritualized ego is still having a lot of fun there. And that's, Zadkiel calls it the waiting room. That's the waiting room where we love ourselves even more, where we have that beautiful perspective of the witness that then invites us to start releasing even more judgment, the judgment of self, the judgment of others. And it is in that moment of the release of the judgment that we once more anchor, and now we're in that seventh dimensional experience, witnessing that fifth dimensional witnesser of the third dimensional witness. That's when you connect to your consciousness. That's when you are the lion. And this is where the choices become illuminating, because you no longer have an ego guiding. As what's so fun is that once you break through to that, you really can love the ego that tried to stop you from arriving there. And you're able to fully embrace you with all of the divine empowerment that walks in as a contributor to this divine moment, that walks in and takes your seat, your rightful seat at the table, the one that we are all coming forward and putting all of our swords down and saying, together we are better because we have arrived in our empowered enlionment. And so when all the lions can sit at the table, there is no fear. There is the co-creative power of the presence of the illuminated co-creation. This is that moment, the moment to say, I am ready. I am really here. And my openness is without limitation because my judgment has relaxed. Thereby, sincerely, I receive guidance so that the divine inspiration is ever coming through us. It's really extraordinary.
Indeed, and I want to repeat that again because this is power in a simple series of statements.
Right?
To be able to take a hand to your heart and simply say, I am here.
I am here.
And take a breath that calls you in the present time, letting go of where you were, because where you were wasn't here.
Right, right.
I am here. And to be able to breathe and say, I am ready. You're stoking the fire of willingness. You're available to be present. I am ready.
Yes.
And I am open, meaning my judgment is suspended. I'm not dictating, controlling. I am open.
That is so valuable, is it not? Because it leads you to the final piece.
Which is guide me. To be able to command your highest mastery, to say, guide me. I am here, I am ready, I'm open, guide me.
Exactly.
And in that circulation of truth comes forward the knowingness of what your next step is, a clear choice, rather than a reactive engagement to the outer world.
Right.
A clear choice.
A clear choice. And when we come from that clarity, when that divine inspiration is constantly just moving through us all the time, beautiful divine inspiration, in those moments, everything comes together. You fold time. You're able to move forward with those experiences. The pressure or the perception of pressure of anything less than that is no longer part of the distraction that keeps you preoccupied and away from empowering that compassion that lifts you to the fifth dimension, that frees you into that seventh dimensional ability to be able to see the greater picture at all times. When we hold that energy, and I love how they say it here. I want to just read this, where they say right down here, it is imperative that you are. It is imperative that you are. And you are at the great divine empowerment moment, thereby only you, and you must empower yourself. Yes. And so to continue the great empowerment, they're saying, look, in order to do this, in order to really hold that, because it's challenging, right? I mean, there's a lot of distractions out there. There's a lot of things that are saying, don't pay attention to you. There are a lot of energies right now that absolutely are freaking out that you're saying yes to you, and that will do anything to stop you. And so the gift is that the more you say yes, the greater you support yourself. Listen to shows like this. Join us every Sunday at noon Pacific time at Shri and Kira Live. Be there, official YouTube, official Shri and Kira. Be there every Sunday. Get in on Monday Magic. Go to shriandkira.com. Join us at Soul Mirrors every Tuesday night. Very powerful show. This show that you're listening to right now, what are you doing to support staying in that realm of conscious connection and clarity? And as you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to start aligning, and we're going to start talking about this galactic crystalline DNA. And that this is here because of the time that we are in. I think we could all agree we're at the moment of new beginnings.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to speak to that because
Please do.
Two things that come forward for me right now to share. One of them is, we all know what DNA is. DNA is like a map of the body.
Right? Building blocks.
Okay? It has the codes for how the cells ought to reproduce and make an organ and make a bone and etc.
All that stuff.
Okay, well, consider for a moment. If that's all you have to align with, then what you're saying is, I am this body.
Right.
And I will die with this body,
It's
and I'll get
density
old
belief.
and ill, etc.
Right? Density belief systems. That's really what it is.
And that is one worldview that is disconnected from your divine inheritance. So how do we connect with our divinity? Well, Archangel Zadkiel in this beautiful transmission is mentioning your galactic crystalline DNA.
Now, breathe that in. Because as you're sharing that, I really got a lot of fifth chakra just connecting with all of you. And I do find that very perfect because we are in the year 2021, and Ascended Numerology is the year not only of eternal life ignition as the 5, but of what we refer to as the truth chakra of the throat. So as Shri is sharing, what are you noticing? And it goes back to those questions I was asking you earlier, right? Very important. How do you perceive what's in front of you right now? Begins with right now.
Well, yes. And the thing is, you don't need to use your intellect to perceive your crystalline DNA.
Exactly.
Consider for a moment, we don't use our intellect to perceive our DNA. This is something that some science folks have told us exists. And there is truth in that.
Yeah.
However, there are levels of truth. Mm-hmm. There is the physical, there is the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. We have these layers of existence that superimpose right here, right now, where you are.
Right.
And the question is, as we relax our perception and bring our attention back to presence rather than actively spinning with something, we begin to notice what's really going on.
Right.
And this is, as Kira's saying, well, what about your perceptions? What do you see? What is in front of you right now? Well, the more we breathe, smile, and relax, the more we can witness it for what it is, which is a moment of engagement that is a choice, not a requirement.
Wow. A choice, not a requirement. Yet, you're listening to this show, so I suspect it's something you've already said yes to. Now, one of the things I would encourage you to do is go to shriandkira.com, and along with checking out Monday Magic right there on the homepage, right up at the top tabs there, you'll see a tab that says Yoga of Self-Ascension. When you click on that, it's going to give you a whole big drop-down menu of tons and tons of amazing, all complimentary information. Learn about the Divine Galactic Blueprint, because this is the activator of your crystalline DNA. This is what is going to ignite that to soar. Mm-hmm. So as you ignite that to soar, I want you to bring your hands to your heart right now. We've been doing a lot of that tonight, right? Now here's why we gave you the sticky note practice. Another reason. Every time we bring our hands to our heart, every time we're saying, thank you, I love you. Mm-hmm. We're giving that conscious breath. We're smiling. We're also starting to anchor the ascended heart. The ascended heart is actually the root chakra that sustains the ascended chakra system known as the Divine Galactic Blueprint, that is the beautiful repository of your crystalline DNA. However, you cannot ignite it. You cannot open it unless you anchor the ascended heart. Now, in order to anchor the ascended heart, it means that the lower three chakras of this beautiful body, of this world of form, have been stabilized into a beautiful space of peace, love, and joy. Meaning that your physical body has said yes to you expanding. This is a sacred union. The body and that which illuminates the body is the ultimate sacred union. This is why so many feel without. This is why so many are constantly looking for a partner or a twin flame. It's right here. It's right here. And when we accept that, we start really taking care of our body. Yeah. And when we bring all that together, we give ourselves the gift of this anchored, ascended heart that illuminates this beautiful crystalline DNA. So whether or not you're familiar with that, in this moment, let go of the mind and just feel it. Notice, pay attention, and then go to ShriandKira.com and learn about the Divine Galactic Blueprint. And while you're there, check out the self-ascended chakra portrait as well, because that's how you get those chakras stabilized in the lower frequencies.
Absolutely. Hey, beloveds, we're going to take a quick station break, and we're going to be right back to go even deeper into this mystery of our cosmic DNA and living a spiritual life.
You got it.
Stay with us.
Okay.
Welcome to the Self-Ascension Classroom, affordable and beautiful home study for your mystical journey. Imagine the gift of studying everything that you've ever wanted at home and on your time. Yes, it is possible, and there is so much to choose from as you dive into your home study experience. Remember that with every moment you spend studying this gift, you ignite your divinity. Imagine the mysteries of the Tohil and the crystalline clarity and radiant abundance of Vesa, a mastery balancing technique and certification process, and then cosmic life regression. Travel the universe and remember. Allow yourself the gift of navigating the inner matrix. This beautiful Ascended Mastery program of the Violet Flame will take you to places you may not have dared to dream to go, and then you will rediscover the true gift of your divine nature. Yes, the time is now to study the ancient mysteries, and it's so easy to begin. Discover the Self-Ascension Classroom only at ShriandKira.com. That's ShriandKira.com. Namaste.
And now, here are Shri and Kira.
Welcome back. We're glad to be with you. And we're having a delightful time this evening.
We're really having a good time.
Looking at the fundamental issue of how do I raise my consciousness.
Right.
We've been talking about the Galactic Crystalline DNA, which is something you discover through your consciousness, not through your intellect.
And if you're just jumping in on the second half of the show right now, today we've been discussing how to really connect with your divine empowerment, claiming your purpose, because we are at, and I think everyone can agree, times are different. We're in a new moment, and things are intense, and there is a lot that is trying to distract you from who you are. It is doing its best, and it is saying, hey, come on over here, forget who you are. And it's easy to do, right? As Einstein always said, not only will things not be solved at the level of consciousness that created them, but Einstein also reminded us that we are all energy, and that we are all harmonic frequencies that keep constantly getting lower and lower and lower and lower so that the senses will connect with them. So what happens when we start inviting those harmonic frequencies to refine and to start singing a different song? Well, what happens is that we claim our divine purpose, we claim our divine empowerment, and we step out as the incredible lion energy that we are. And we've been discussing tonight that call to greater consciousness and the importance of making our clear decisions and how to understand this galactic crystalline DNA that's actually birthing through all of us right now.
And this is one of the marvelous things, is you've already got this.
You do.
It's wired into who you are. You wouldn't be here if you...
Right? And here's a reminder. Thank you, breathe. Right from the first part of the show, we taught you the sticky note practice.
And so, beloved ones, the key is to take little micro vacations from the immersion in the outer world, so to come back to presence.
Please.
And so when we're invited to connect with our consciousness, what the archangelic realm is really saying is practice becoming conscious of that which is. To connect with your consciousness is to connect beyond the artifacts of consciousness, the jumbling, jumping.
The
stuff.
The distractions.
And now here's where the empowerment key begins to come in. When we practice breathing, thank you, breathe. When we practice just noticing with gratitude what's going on, we lift out of reactive consciousness into the fifth dimensional energy of compassion. Compassion is the number one quality of that ascended dimensional energy, the fifth dimension. And so when we begin to feel gratitude, when we begin to relax our need to point and counterpoint, we are now at the gateway of the ascended state.
Exactly.
And we can lift from compassion into non-judgment, which is a beautiful, expansive sense of peace. So, where is your empowerment? It's in that state of consciousness that you can see what's going on and what actions ought to be taken.
Right.
And from that state of connection to your ascended heart, to the compassion of the truth of your soul, we can take action without being timid. As opposed to when we're dancing in the dialogues of density, action, reaction, cause, and effect, It's very easy to get timid because our emotions are feeling the chaos and will it work and will it not work, and doubt and fear have a playground there. But when we lift into that zone of compassion, there's no doubt and fear. They just don't exist.
I love that.
There's the empowerment, is it not?
Right? I mean, isn't that it? So here's the key. Let's talk about that, because right before the break, we were sharing with you about the ignition of your divine galactic blueprint, this ascended crystalline DNA, and this beautiful energy and how to hold that energy is really predicated upon stabilizing, and I want to spend a little time on this. Everything really is predicated on, can I stabilize my traditional first, second, and third chakras? Now, let's talk about the first, because last year in 2020, the Ascended Numerology of the Year set it up so that literally every single month we were all getting our root chakra hit with incredible assaults. And these are the distraction energies. This is the rising external voice that seeks to pull you away from trusting yourself. And at the end of the day, the first chakra, the root chakra, is about deservability. And if you're still floating around wondering, if you're living in that victim triangle, if you're in that victim consciousness, if you're still in that blame game, if you're still really about there's got to be a winner and a loser, or there's got to be somebody who's right and somebody who's wrong, then your first chakra is still freaking out. And try this one on. Bring your hands, right? We got our new practice. We're going to bring our hands to our heart. And I want you to close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Take in a deep breath. Exhale. And try this one on. I deserve because I was born.
I deserve because I was born.
I deserve because I was born. Breathing in. Smile, right? I deserve because I was born is a declaration of your mastery presence. You would not be on this planet, and especially in this timeline, especially in the way that we have surfed into this moment of co-creation, you would not be here right now unless you are at a level of mastery that is extraordinary. And so as that level of mastery has come forward, I deserve because I was born invites the root chakra to move from seeking safety, because the root chakra is all about, I need basics. I need food, I need shelter, I need to feel safe, right? And if anything makes me intimidated, I'm collapsing right back down and I'm just going to hang out here. I deserve because I was born. That's a solid foundation, right? From there, you relax into peace. The peace of knowing you can't mess this up. The peace of knowing that every single thing that has ever happened in your life experience brought you to right now. And that we can lift above the yeah, I know that to wow, to the wow of that, to let go of the embodiment of it, the attachment to it, and to simply relax into the magic of it. Everything that has brought you to where you are right now has conspired because you are here now. You were meant to wake up. You were meant to be here. And we are at a moment right now where it really matters. So thank you for saying yes to that first chakra. Thank you for saying yes to feeling peace, because it moves us to our second chakra. And that's a beautiful journey.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. And before we move into the second, I just want to remind you that the first chakra is right there in your pelvis, which is the foundation. How do you walk? You need a pelvis. How do you support your life, your spine, your muscles? You need a pelvis. Yeah. And so what is your foundation? As long as we are willing to accept our divine inheritance, that I am a divine being having a human experience and I am safe, then it's very easy to understand that of course you deserve. Of course you deserve. You're here. And in that fundamental knowing, then we can move into the next chakra resolution, which is the second chakra has been associated with emotionality and sexuality and all of that ocean of emotion, dance.
Well, I like that. That's true.
Where in fact, from an ascended standpoint, the second chakra is about being at peace with the cycles of life and being at love with life.
It's all about the love, the true love, not the emotional love, the love of the blessing of this sacred union experience. That you are consciously aware that this beautiful body of form is unified with the incredible being illuminating it. And that love sustains and radiates, and that's what then lifts us up into that third chakra.
Now, the third chakra in the worldly sense is about power, right? It's about competition.
Remember, first, second, third. Safety, sex, power.
And that power, that struggle, that competitiveness, the gotta push, that's all the old paradigm that is locked into the fear-based reality. The truth of you as a divine being, I deserve because I was born, I am at peace with the cycles of life, and I love life, I love creation. Well, what arises next? Joy.
that incredible joy, right? That bliss bubble, that effervescent joy of divine presence.
That's it. To be the joy of movement, the joy of being alive and to be able to interact, and the joy of being conscious, the peace, the love, the joy opens up the ascended heart.
And lifts all that empowerment from, instead of this third chakra power struggle, right? Who's really in charge? Who's what? Am I a lion? Am I a lamb? Do I say? Do I not? All of that's gone. All of that destructive chatter, all of the doubt, all of the reactivity, it's just gone. And what's left is the empowered presence of you. And that's what activates and sustains the ascended heart. Because this is the number one trap, the heart trap, the love trap. And this is where most spiritual activists get stuck. Because there's this gift of igniting the heart, but then we bring all of our judgments to it. And we bring all of our limiting beliefs to it and say, well, yeah, if you really loved me, if you're really as loving as you say, if you're really as this, that's all victim consciousness projection of a wounded heart that believes it is open. And I know that can be tough to hear, and we'll do a whole show on that. We're going to do actually a whole show on the challenge of unconditional love, because when you awaken to these levels of divine empowerment, the discernment expands exponentially. And the gift of the expansion, which is what we've been talking about all night, that this is that moment of divine expansion that's here for you right now. The gift of that expansion is that the rich moment of awareness begins. Now, this is when we become aware of all that we thought we were aware of. It's basically that moment where you giggle at yourself and go, wow,
there's more.
I knew nothing. And you're able to really, not hold on to your ego about it, just go, wow, right? That's the gift of expansion, is that you start seeing the joy of it all. That's that peace, love, joy that emanates that empowered energy, that sustains that ascended heart, and then boom, 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 that crystalline DNA ignites. The divine illumination is constantly inspiring you, and your life becomes the law of instantaneous manifestation.
To live a full soul-based life means we instinctively know how to command the light and how to act in alignment with love and our highest guidance.
Exactly.
And this brings me back to one of the sharings from Archangel Zadkiel in this ensoulment that we began the show with. Mm-hmm. It is not the time to be timid. Now that doesn't mean turn up the volume on your voice.
Right.
What it means is it's not the time to doubt yourself.
Really write that down. That is right. That's it. The minute, and this isn't about your ego. This isn't about bullying. This is about trusting what you know is the divinely inspired guidance from within. That often Sri calls it the dismissible voice.
Because we have been conditioned to be timid and compliant and conform. And then one of the first ways we start confronting that energy is to do the exact opposite.
Frequently.
We become counter-dependent and downright selfish and rude, in order to find some strength, some emotional strength. But that isn't the spiritual empowerment.
No.
The lion is that part of you that is enlivened with your deeper truth, your authenticity, your authentic energy, and timidity isn't just part of it. It's just not there. I am that which I am, period.
Let's breathe that in. Let's just stop for a minute. Let's just pause there for 1 second. Hands to heart, right? We're going to take in that deep breath through the nose. We're going to smile. I am that which I am.
Yeah.
I am. Really give yourself the gift, even if you're just pretending in this moment. Try to let the chatter relax. The chatter only has one purpose, to distract you from who you truly are. And it is a self-imposed prison until we wake up one day and become the witness of our own divine presence, just as we were talking about earlier, until we free ourselves by loving ourselves enough, by calling in enough compassion that we are able to sincerely break free of the limiting belief structure of the third dimension, anchor in our fifth dimensional presence, where there is a discernment filter there, where yes, we're still with that third dimension, we can still be affected by it. However, we're also in a moment where, because we are that kind of one level around it, gazing at it, we start having the blessing of the relaxing of the reactivity. And then we can go even further when we start relaxing the judgments.
Yes.
This is a moment unlike any other. It is your moment.
Absolutely. And there are those of you that will say, well, I can't just hang out there and still do my job and go do things. Yes, here's the trick. First get there, and then decide. Don't decide from the other place.
Well, that is so true, because once you get there, that all goes away, and we know it really does.
The fear, the preoccupation with it dissolves, and you're able to bring that loving peacefulness to your interactions. Yeah. You're able to say clearly, this is what I believe is the right thing to do, and to stand by it.
And know the truth of it. And we know the truth that you are a master. And we're going to see you at Monday Magic. We're going to see you at Soul Mirrors. And go to ShriandKira.com, because we are better together. Namaste, my loves.
Many blessings.
Thank you for joining us at Shri and Kira Live. To have your questions answered, send us an email to guest@ShriandKiraRadio.com and check out more information at ShriandKira.com. See you next week. Namaste.